And dare I say, Steve, one of the best national anthems that we heard all year.
Yes. You know what?
What do you say to that one, right?
I don't. Ditto. Agreed. I tell you what, Teague. When you hear a national anthem like that, and it's been a long time since I competed, and for a fleeting moment, I thought about maybe putting the shoes on and going out there and competing again.
Toeing the line again, right?
Toeing the line.
It's how I think I sound in my car. And Steve was a crucial moment here in terms of the coin flip. It'll be interesting to see what dual moves it could be made, and it looks like Rapids wins the toss.
Rapids' choice. They look to Tanner Gormanson to tell him. Not quite sure who will have to be putting out. Teague, I want to go ahead and explain the purpose of the coin toss real quick.
So for the folks tuned in, with the coin flip, just like if you're a football fan, there's a winner of the coin flip. The winner of that flip chooses at what weight class teams have to send out first. So for the odd-numbered weight classes, and that could be in any weight in any case, but the first, third, fifth, and so on, all the way up to the 13th weight classes, that means odds. For evens, second, fourth, sixth, you get the numbers game there.
Yep.
So teams just choose if they want to send out odds or evens.
And so at 138 pounds, Lodi will be putting out first. They'll be putting out odd. And then what will happen in this particular case is Rapids will counter. If they want to change their lineup, they can.
And plays huge into a duel like tonight, or like we said, chances are we will not see the same lineups. We'll wait a moment here to catch the names of the wrestlers competing. And in on a quick shot, Steve, if we had to guess based on our projected lineups, that looks like Mr. Carter Freeman out there.
Yeah, and based on that first takedown as well, right? That's got to be number 2 ranked Carter Freeman. Ranked number 2 at 138 pounds.
We have Colin Stevenson, and for Wisconsin Rapids, Carter Freeman.
And it is indeed a Carter Freeman wrestling for the Raiders. State champ at 126 pounds last year. His opponent, Colin Stevenson.
He would be a sophomore. We don't have any notes on Colin. I think that was either that's a last-minute change, or we're going to see Hayden Struess-Clark, which one of those moves that we talked about
could be
before the show.
Him at 145.
Correct. They feel like they'd get a better shot moving Hayden up away from the state champion.
Freeman with the hammerlock. Ironically, looking to start the night off with the showstopper here, Steve.
A lot of names for this move, Teague.
And now just keeping control of that wrist. Almost able to sink in the elbow and able to use that as a lever. Freeman looking for the fall with 35 seconds to go. And the state champ gets the pin. Raiders get on the board first here at 138 pounds, 6-0.
Yeah, expected bonus points to their 138-pounder. And just such a steady wrestler, isn't he? I mean, he's just methodical, but he's got that burst of speed, and he can explode at any time and and turn out the lights. But Carter Freeman, just a few of his accolades, 22, now 23-5 on the year. Third at the Highlander, took first at the Steck, and state champion last year, 126 pounds. Beat Easton Cooper. I believe that's a conference rival, Teague.
A Wisconsin Valley Conference matchup.
Yep. And it was 48-4 last year for Carter Freeman.
Now wrestling for Lodi.
Moving us up to 144 pounds.
Wisconsin Rapids, Hayden Armagast.
Teague, that moves us up. Hayden Struess-Clark, he is a junior, 16-9, wrestling Aiden Armagast, senior, 4-2, ranked number 12 on the season. Just has 6 matches in his must have some form of injury, started late for whatever reason.
Yeah, a starter on last year's lineup that made it to the team state finals. So coming in late on the year, but a huge addition for the Raiders.
Right. Yeah, Raider.
Sorry, I was thinking Armagast.
That's right. Armagast is on people's radar.
He goes to work quick. Up 3-0, 40 seconds into this match.
Ains ranked number 12 at 138, so we got a little bump in that lineup. 8th last week at the Highlander, 7th at the Husky. A sectional qualifier last year, 32-9. And Teague, that dreaded one spot away from going to the individual state tournament.
And Steve, you had a great duel breakdown for tonight. How do you view 144 here? What's a win? What's a loss for either of these teams?
Well, I had the matchup being popping up the sheet here real quick. 144. I had Hayden being down at 138. So
Okay.
a little bit
so
different here, but
we just need to throw the whole sheet away now for the duel breakdown.
Hopefully that's the only change, but
I think now if you have Lodi's logic, Coach Andres, he's thinking you don't want to put Struce Clark up against Freeman and potentially give up 6. Here, Armagaw's still probably the favorite, but if he can potentially squeeze out a win or not give up, I think maybe more potential of giving up more bonus points if they just went with their Pat lineup.
right. Exactly. I think if a win right here for Lodi, obviously a win would be huge, right? But a moral victory, if there is one, it's not giving up bonus points right now.
We head to the second period, a 3-0 in favor of the Rapid Senior. And Struce Clark opting to go neutral.
Struce
Quick
Clark.
shot off the whistle for Armagos. Nice defense by Struce Clark.
Struce Clark was 16-9 on the year, 11th at the Norski last weekend.
Another takedown for Armagos puts him up 6-0. Now looking for the cradle on the stand-up by Struce Clark. Savvy move, but the action goes out of bounds with 1:32 to go in the second period. A 6-point advantage for Armagos.
Armagos quickly says neutral. And Teague, it's funny, you and I have covered Lodi a lot, being from the southern part of the state. And Lodi, usually when they wrestle, have that mystique. People come out, got maybe a little bit of fear, so to speak, against a team such as the caliber as Lodi. And not going to see that tonight with Wisconsin Rapids, right?
Well, Rapids, of course, coming off that Team State Finals appearance last year. This year in the same regional as the 4-time defending Team State champ, Kaukauna Galloping goes, but definitely know they have a path to victory in that duel, so they had their eyes on the prize this year, Steve, looking to get back to the field house.
Somewhat of
Another
a shame.
takedown for
right?
Armagos, up you
Somewhat of a shame. You don't see you get the state champs and runner-up in the same division. I'm sorry, same sectional this year, so one of them won't make it back.
And a stall warning against Struce Clark.
Yep.
And Steve, since 2012, Rapids' last Team State title, 3 appearances at the field house, making the finals twice in those runs. Lodi looking to get back to Team State for the first time since 2017. It's just a loaded field in southwest Wisconsin. Steve, get this, from 1996 to 2011, a 16-year span, a combined 30 trips to Team State for the two teams.
That's amazing. That's amazing when you think about it. What was the streak state championship for Rapids?
From 1996 to 2001, 6 years in a row. We head to the third period. Armagos up 9-1 will be his choice, and he's going to take down.
Surprised he didn't take neutral on that. So far, these Rapids wrestlers, you can definitely tell, not a stranger to the weight room. Yeah, 19 trips to Team State for Rapids. And you look at it and say, 21 state titles. How is that? Well, you got to remember, folks, they won 4 or 5 state championships when it was in the individual tournament. That's what determined the champion.
Oh, and a nice switch by Armagos. Puts him up 11-1 after the reversal. Now with the new scoring, Steve, up 9 points. Well, he's going to need 3 takedowns, or hey, maybe in this case, thinking cradle.
Somebody decides.
Picks up an easier 3.
Yep, he's going to try for the takedown release.
So 2 takedowns and a 110. And these are 2 teams. I'm just loving the duel aspect of this. These are 2 teams that know how to wrestle in a duel, Steve. As weird as that is, as we're in a duel right now,
right.
There's some teams that don't totally have that experience. especially in high caliber matches such as this one. But
yeah, as far as understanding the concept of teaming points, not giving them up. What I really liked about Hayden Struce-Clark right there is, obviously down big in this, down by 11, but right there on the edge, right here close to us, he saw a little fight by him. He's understand the situation, not wanting to give up any more points. End this match on a high note.
And Struce-Clark, he's got a little offensive there, working the front head, and just a reset here with 35 to go. Armagost looking for 2 takedowns to find the tech. Right now in major decision territory. So if the score stays between an 8 and 14-point difference for Armagost, it'll be 14 points for the Raiders.
I'd like to see Hayden go after a takedown here, right? End this thing on a high note. Go out strong.
Armagost 7 matches back in. Great performance, but I think that cardio's still kicking in a little bit. Right. And all right, let's say that. Yep. Picked up a takedown at the end just for good measure. That'll make the final score 17-3. 10-0 Rapids after 2 matches.
Major decision. I'd like to see what. Well, actually, so what happened there is Lodi bumped sophomore Jackson Ladwig out 9-18. It's probably a good call against a wrestler of Armagost caliber. And that's going to take us to 115, Teague. And if you're this Lodi crowd, you're looking for something to reignite you.
Well, I'm guessing there won't be a bump here for the Blue Devils.
Who better to ignite the crowd than Braden Dorshorst?
Dorshorst, one of the seniors honored here this evening, as looking to confirm his name.
50 pounds from Lodi, Braden Dorhorst.
Dorhorst.
Is indeed Braden. And it's a Levi Lodner for Wisconsin Rapids. Dorhorst picking up a takedown in the first 5, and there is a vintage Lodi cradle if I've ever seen one.
I tell you what, I've wrestled with a few Lodi guys in college, and that's when I got introduced to Lodi wrestling, and they are cradlers. I think that's all they work on in the room. But Braden Dorhorst, number 4 ranked, 29-3, now 30-3 on the year. First at the Norski, 4th at Bi-State, 3rd at Fond du Lac. He was a 4th place medalist last year with a 49-11 record, Teague, and that's if you're Lodi.
Just what the doctor ordered, right?
What the doctor ordered, needing to get back some momentum, getting the crowd back into it, right? And they do that with a quick first period pin.
So we take the action to 157. As we're about to get into our army of Tritzes here for the Raiders, if I had to guess.
Wrestling at 157 pounds from Lodi, Alex Breinig. From Wisconsin Rapids, Mason Tritz.
And indeed it is for Rapids, ranked 7th in the state, 23-9 senior Mason Tritz. He's taken on the 23-7 junior and one of the heroes of the PDC duel, Alex Breinig.
Yeah, that was exciting. That was an exciting duel down in Prairie du Chien. Breinig, first champion. I'm sorry, check that. He was a champion at the Norski, 9th at Fond du Lac. And Teague, we know how tough the Bi-State is. He was in the blood round, lost in the blood round to place at that tournament.
And nice takedown by Breinig at the edge of the mat.
Head coach Cody Andres trying to ignite his crowd, ignite his team. That was a pretty slick takedown.
Well, if there's a way to describe Breinig, just a guy that is all heart. His work paying off, as evidenced by his record. And an early lead for him, huge here, especially Tritz known for his mat wrestling. And Tritz able to grab an arm, but Breinig almost able to find a cradle.
Going for that Lodi cradle again. Long arms for Breinig.
And Breinig does have a cradle locked up, Steve, and Tritz was trying to put him in a bad spot. Oh, there it is. Tritz rips a headlock, able to grab the head, and 55 seconds to find the fall. Breinig was going for a dagger early in the match.
Not quite sure he had to force that. He looked like he was still in a good position. Kind of went for that suicide cradle. But
and almost able to roll through, but clock now down to 40 seconds to go in the first. The Lodi crowd willing of the junior on.
Tell you what, Breinig fighting like crazy. Like to see that out of the junior.
There it is, the fall by. It's taken down first, but catches Breinig in a bad spot, and a pin puts another 6 on the board for the Raiders.
As Teague said, Mason Tritz didn't get to go through his credentials here, so we'll go ahead and do that while we're waiting for the next matchup here. But Tritz last week, Friday, took 3rd at the Highlander, runner-up at the Ed Steck, 4th at the ever-so-tough Eau Claire North Husky tournament, and he was 27-8 last year, a sectional qualifier at 150 pounds, and once again, another one of those Wisconsin Rapids wrestlers in that also-dreaded 3rd spot at the Division I sectional, which means you're 1 spot away from going to that individual state, something that just drives kids a lot in that offseason. Moving us up to 165 pounds. Tegan, you talked about igniting the crowd. When we were at Prairie du Chien, Tony Amasabi was one of those igniters for Lodi, and he's out wrestling tonight.
Tony Omasadi. And from Wisconsin Rapids, Caden Skolinski.
Steve, it is Omasabi. His opponent, Caden Solinsky, for Rapids. Now up to a 165.
Yeah, can't quite find Caden on there. It's going to be 3 takedown for Tony. Tony 20-9 on the year. Just got recognized for senior night. Talked about by Coach Andres, one of those guys that everybody loves.
And the reversal by Caden.
Nice quick stand-up.
And a stall, a warning against Skolinski.
Yeah, head referee Neil Stake. Basically what he felt there is that Caden was not, the Wisconsin Rapids wrestler, not making an attempt to take the Lodi wrestler down. Not necessarily a set time to do it. You just have to make the attempt to do it. Everybody thinks it's 5 seconds. That's not true.
It's just look like you're making progress,
Yep.
right? And keep trying to improve your position.
Did you say that's Solinsky? Is that the last name? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, just looking to confirm that. Caden Shalinsky.
Shalinsky. Okay, thank you.
Caden,
Oh, that's right.
2 and 3 at the
That's
Jefferson by
very good
another
call.
another Lodi slide by.
I tell you what, they are slick with that slide by. See, that slide by is one of those moves that I'm going to tell you this. When I was in high school, I'm not going to say it didn't exist, but you never saw it. I think that's evolved in the 2000s.
The score now 7-3 after the takedown by Shalinsky. And take the action out of bounds with 9 seconds to go in the first period.
Oh, try
One more slide by
Let's do it
attempt
again, right?
here. But he's a gamer, right? I mean, his last match against Prairie du Chien, Steve gave up the first takedown, but then I believe scored 14 unanswered points to get the major. So a wrestler that seems to get stronger as the match goes on, but we've seen Rapids really strong in this bottom position.
Yeah, they seem to be strong in every position.
And maybe the Lodi coaches agreeing here as opting to go on their feet to start the second.
Shalinsky going for the no sock look. Big look in the 90s back before Teague was born. I'd like to see it making a little comeback.
I don't know, score aside from the optional stand up, or not stand up, but optional neutral to start the period, 30 seconds in. Steve, I cannot imagine wearing no socks while wrestling, or just maybe low
Well,
sock. Is
they
what
might be
they're
low
in.
socks, yeah. It goes through different fads. It went through no socks. Well, before that, big socks, then no socks. I think it just ebbs and flows, Teague.
It's a little trend, yeah.
Just kind of like the mullet. The mullet seems to be going away a little bit. Nice little flurry by both wrestlers. Crowd getting into it. Oh, there's a...
Wow, good flurry there, and
That
all of a
was
sudden
good.
he comes up on top. Now up 10-4.
Good shot by the Rapids wrestler, and then the Lodi, Tony, he caught him a little underhook and almost did like an inverted slide by.
Shalinsky, Steve, making his way into the varsity lineup. Seems to be mostly on the reserve squad, but JV state qualifier, placed 5th at Wausau West last weekend.
Check that. Wisconsin Rapids just benefit with just a huge lineup, great numbers. Nice to have that depth. Jeremiah Peters slated to be in the lineup, 12 and 15, but for whatever reason not here. And obviously Shalinsky doing a really good job against a strong wrestler filling in.
And early on in the duel still, but you might be thinking, especially against a backup, potential bonus points here right now, but still just in regular decision territory. So Omasevi with the 5-point lead. We'll head to the third, 10-5 in favor of the Lodi senior.
The Green's choice. Can take neutral. Obviously, if you're Lodi, you're screaming for bonus points right here. But if you're the Rapids wrestler, tell you what, keeping this decision and keeping it close enough in the third period where you can possibly sneak out a win would just be, it'd be a backbreaker for Lodi.
And Steve, looking back on that last match at 157, you had Rapids favored with Tritz, right? And it makes sense on paper. Breinig did have the lead, wasn't looking for the cradle.
Sure.
If you lose that one, it's all right. And a head throw attempt by Shalinsky. Omasevi able to get behind him for a moment, but now Shalinsky in on a leg, and Omasevi, I think we're starting to see that cardio kick in.
There it is.
For the Lodi senior, 13-6. So for sure needs one more takedown, or if he can force 2 more stall calls, but you like the takedown route for insurance points.
Yeah, Omasevi's starting to feel the momentum go to his side.
A blast double attempt by Omasevi, and it just stays hard at charging.
Yeah, I think you got to keep going. I don't think you're going to turn them. So
Yeah, why not 3-point takedowns? Can you find a way?
It can happen quick. Trying to do the math in my head to figure out how many more he needs. It looks like he's kind of broke the Wisconsin Rapids wrestler.
19-7 would need 2 more takedowns. And his coaches believe he can do it. The crowd believes he can do it.
Oh, there's that slide by again, Teague. That's the third
Now
one.
muscle him down. And now
Coach is saying, do it again.
22-8.
Nope.
Oh, and
he
the
took it to his back,
through
Teague.
taking him.
Tell you what, forget the tech fall.
And Shalinsky able to fight off his back. How about the momentum swing in the third period by Tony Omasevi, up by 5 going into the third. Huge win to get Lodi within a 5 of the Raiders.
See, I was also, Omasevi's going for the tech fall, and he tries to release the guy, doesn't get enough breakaway from it, so the point was never awarded. And the Wisconsin Rapids wrestler attacked, and Omasevi just said, all right, I'll just throw you to your back.
9-9 from Lodi, Tony Omasevi.
Now head to 175 pounds. Steve, a potential toss-up here. While looking at the tail of the tape of the entirety of the duel, you think it might be a must-win for the Blue Devils. A lot of duel left here,
right,
but a win here to keep some momentum rolling, especially going into the meat of Rapids line. I mean, they have a pretty solid lineup throughout, but
they're tough all the way through, right? But if this one at 175 pounds, we have it listed as a toss-up. If it's the 2 wrestlers, and we'll wait officially for it as they make that announcement. But these are 2 wrestlers that in a lineup just stacked with top-ranked wrestlers and state medalists and 20-plus win guys. This one right here is the unsung hero.
oh, and an elevator by Ployce off the shot from Hansen.
We have no points. We got blood time on Wisconsin Rapids. Teague, and is it? You heard the announcement. Is it Owen Ployce and Ethan Hansen?
Ployce. Oakley Ployce, Easton Hansen.
So Oakley Ployce is a freshman, 13-7. Took 17th last week at the Highlander. And Easton Hansen, a senior, 1-3 on the year, took 8th at the Norski. So Ethan, not a lot of matches under his belt, but does have that senior leadership to stem from.
Well, Steve, just based off the first 10 seconds of action, you had a blast double and you had an elevator. Is this one of those matches where, regardless of the winners, this 6 either way?
Teague, I'm 99.9% sure this one's going to end in a pin. That's basically what I'm telling you. So, yeah.
And that's pivotal, right? A potential 12-point swing obviously could go the full 6.
Well, it's matches like this, Teague, that either make a coach go bald or make him go gray, one of the two, because, you can be up by 12 points in a match with 2 wrestlers with not a lot of experience, and you still can't settle down because you don't quite know what's going to happen.
And Coach Andre's just off camera. A little bit of both with that hair right now, so good mix for him to get the blood time cleaned up.
That's called a healthy hairline, Teague.
Get a quick word from our sponsors. We want to thank YouTube. All right, no sponsors tonight.
No sponsors.
My apologies.
Right.
All right. Well, just go check out our YouTube. We're starting to archive some matches on WI Wrestle onto YouTube. Steve and I were up at Door County on a Saturday.
Awesome.
I'll tell you what, some of the finals from the Dirk Sorensen were absolutely awesome. You could feel the atmosphere in the gym during that 285-pound final. The team race came down to it. I won't spoil the result for you. You'll have to go to YouTube to find out how that went. Let's get back to the action here in Lodi. Only 11 seconds passed by, so 140 left.
Yeah.
This match. And
tell you what,
Steve is.
Lodi,
We got to
out a
start doing a
clinic.
slide-by counter.
I'm going to count it at 5. Well, maybe 6. I think Tony did 5 all by himself. Nice little slide by the senior, Easton Hansen.
Oh, and a suck back by Hansen. But able to recover somewhat quickly is Ployce. Nice work by Ployce. Getting up to his feet, gets the escape. Now a 3-1 for the Rapids freshman. Now looking to generate some offense of his own, in on a leg.
Hansen doing a good job. That head came out and says, nope, I'm going to shove it right back down on the mat.
Yeah, right now just seeing textbook shot defense by the Lodi senior, and that's where that mad time is crucial, Steve, doing the little things right. Stopping the movement from Ployce, but Ployce trying to keep those knees moving.
Yep.
And a
good call.
Stalemate called by the official with 41 seconds to go in the first period.
This might be the longest, lankiest 175-pound matchup I've seen.
The all wingspan matchup.
That's right.
Duel.
Oh, that was a nice shot. Not able to finish.
Instead, it'll be Hansen who picks up the points.
Hansen, good job on that shot defense. Does a good job of stopping that initial shot and then spinning around, getting his 3.
Well, and 9 seconds left. Love the wrestling knowledge by both crowds. A short time. Lodi side urging Hansen to break him down. Rapids fans looking for that quick stand-up, but it will be 6-1 heading into the second, and we are starting neutral.
Senior night here at Lodi, and Hansen, I think, is one of those 3 Lodi wrestlers that started out wrestling as a freshman and came back out later on as a senior. Tell you what, you'd like to see him wrestle all 4 years, but you really respect the guy that comes back out after being off for a couple years, and obviously not a lot of matches on the year, but here he is, up by 5 for his team.
And a trip by Ployce, taking Hansen right to his back. Just a shade under 90 seconds remaining in the second, and Hansen trying to fight through. Ployce maintaining the pressure. And down to 6-1. A huge trip by the Rapids freshman. Now just looking to put the finishing touches on the takedown.
Hansen doing a good job of keeping that arm up, that shoulder up, showing toughness and flexibility.
Well, if you're Ployce, you're in a great spot, right? You just make it. Those minute adjustments.
Right. I mean, this is a long time to sit down there. If anybody's ever been on their back, they know 40 seconds can seem like an eternity.
And now down to 30. Place a good hold of that arm and it tightens it up, gets the fall. Huge win by the Rapids freshman to put them up 22-11.
Winner by fall in 3 minutes.
6 matches into this duel.
Tell you what, Teague, I'm going to tell you something right there. I gained a little respect for Ethan Hansen. Did fight off that one, but he was down there for a long time, and he did not want to give up that pin. But Oakley Place, nice showing by the young freshman. Down in the match and throws out that head steal.
Worked his offense. And it looks like we had one prediction come true, Steve. That one was going to end in 6 either way.
You knew it was going to happen either way. And that's what I was talking about. You got to, in a match like that, even if you're up, you have a coach does not settle down. He's got to be intense. He's got to be coaching the whole time because it can end just like that.
Steve at 190, a little switch in the lineup. I think just a little movement by Rapids. We're going to see Grant Beyer, the senior for Lodi, Aiden Stanbrook, senior for Rapids, who gets the first takedown at 20 seconds in. Oh, and looking for the half. Beyer able to roll through.
Grant Beyer, 7-19 on the year. Aiden Stanbrook, 3-5 on the year, 17th at the Highlanders. So these two wrestlers, Beyer a few more matches than Stainbrook, but record percentage-wise, pretty much the same.
Looking for the fireman is Beyer.
Teague, I think you've been pretty confident in this one. That I don't know which way it's going to go, but it's going to end up
maybe
with a pin.
it doesn't go the full 6 again.
Yep.
And another takedown by Stainbrook to go up 6-1. As we've seen tonight, aside from maybe Amasevi, no lead appears to be safe. Now 6-2 after the escape.
Got the senior battle going on.
Oh, another fireman's attempt by Beyer, but just loses the arm, and now 9-2.
Beyer, the wrestler that beforehand, every wrestler said a few words, being seniors, and Beyer's the one that got a little emotional, and just said didn't have a lot to say other than just say he's
glad that he did wrestling.
Glad that he wrestled. Yep.
Stainbrook able to get in on the shot.
Great thing about
Pass
this
the
sport.
head throw attempt by Beyer, now of 12-3.
It's a great thing about this sport is that people might forget the medals and all the wins and pins, whatever it might be, but they never forget the lessons that it teaches you.
We are going to start on our feet.
Now Stainbrook's going to go ahead and Beyer took down. Stainbrook just elects to allow him to come up, concede the 1 point. Feels comfortable on his feet.
Oh, another fireman's attempt by Beyer. Switching off, trying to go to the double, Steve. Just needs to keep those knees moving, and Stainbrook stays active. Now up 11.
Now Beyer does a good job getting in on that leg on that fireman's, but the flaw he's doing is he's grabbing too low on that arm. He's got to keep it up more towards the elbow.
And Stainbrook again getting on the legs, switching off and scoring. Now up 18-5. One takedown away from a tech and a gator roll attempt by Beyer. So it's going to have a takedown. It'll be a 21-6. Aiden Stainbrook. Midway through this duel, Steve, 27-11 in favor of Wisconsin Rapids.
That was a deceiving tech fall. If that match felt a lot closer than a tech fall, 15 points.
Rapids heading into the back half of this duel. You got to be feeling pretty good about the next two matchups. A couple of state qualifiers and Kyler Tritz and Tanner Gormanson.
Yeah, I like this move. Kyler Tritz moving up, it looks like, to 190. Oh, check that. Kyler Tritz moving up, typically wrestles 190 pounds, and moving up to face Tyler Ripp.
Rip 20-11 senior. Tritz 14-3 on his senior campaign. Third at the Highlanders, second at the EH Steck.
State qualifier, I believe, at 175 last year, if I remember right, Teague.
Now up 6-1.
Rip fifth at Fond du Lac. Lost in that blood round at Bi-State.
Well, also it goes without saying, Steve, a familiar name in Rapids wrestling.
The Tritz, yeah. I think the Tritz name brings fear amongst a lot of people. It's one of those names that has clout in the wrestling world.
Look at that tight waist by Tritz. He's going to work on top, and not anymore as he takes things back to their feet. 6-2 halfway through the first.
Teague, you talk about respect in the wrestling world. How about both these programs, right?
Oh, what a nice low single.
It's just an honor to be here tonight with Wisconsin Rapids and Lodi. Looking over on the mat, they have it. I love that. Lodi program established in 1969, Teague, and I know you're not going to believe this, but that's even before I was born.
I'm going to have to do a little fact check on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know you.
Trust but verify.
Teague likes to make old jokes, but I'm going to tell you, that's a fact.
Score 9-2. Still in the first here at 215. Tritz maybe thinking claw ride. 10 seconds to go. Just going to stay on top here, and Rip trying to work out. Again, pretty well-rounded wrestler is Kyler, but mat wrestling just seems to be a Tritz specialty, Steve.
Tritz's choice, going to defer. To no surprise, a Lodi wrestler takes top.
Quick stand-up by Tritz. And I like the coaching decision there by Lodi.
Right.
You got beat on your feet. You got beat on bottom. Might as well try the one position they haven't seen yet. But Tritz explodes out. Now up 10-2 in the early goings of the second period.
Well, I like the decision by the coaching staff for Wisconsin Rapids. You got Kyler Tritz, probably could have went out and had a first-round pin against Grant Beyer, but decides to move up, take the challenge, and wrestle a bigger wrestler in Tyler Rip.
Score now 13-2.
Teagan, you see Tanner Gormanson warming up in the background. I don't know
Hard
if that's on
guy to
camera,
miss.
but he towers over his head coach.
And now up 11, Steve. And you're in a pretty good spot on the tool if you're Rapids. So Tritz still probably thinking, try to find the pin here. Just let's go and tilt for a moment. It's always an interesting decision, right? This duel, you're in a pretty good spot, but do you still work for that habit of looking for six?
Well, I think it's ingrained in the program, right? I mean, it's just something that never leaves you. It's in your blood, and I like it. That's how I like to coach my guys. It's just you keep wrestling, always looking for the pin. You talk about the showstopper before. The pin's the ultimate showstopper. That's what brings people in the crowd in the stands. If you want a full crowd, you got to start wrestling to get pins.
Down to the closing seconds of the second period. Tritz thinking tilt to close this one out. A nice fight by Rip, as looks like we will take this one into the third. Tritz up 13-2. Will be his decision, and he's going to take down.
Take down. As Teague said, Wisconsin, check that, Wisconsin Rapids, number 2 ranked Teague. And I got to say their biggest win probably on the year is a 40-30 win over Simley, Minnesota.
Yeah, Simley, the 6 or 7 time defending Minnesota Division II champions. Always comes over for the Eau Claire North Husky and wreaks some havoc. And with the escape and takedown, that will do it at 2:15. Kyler Tritz, a 17-2 victory.
Brings the team score for Wisconsin Rapids with that tech fall up to 32-11, heading up into the heavyweights.
From Wisconsin Rapids,
And Teague, we don't have to wait for the announcement. We know who Wisconsin Rapids is bringing out. Let's see who they're going to face. I believe it's going to be the sophomore.
Now wrestling at 285 from Lodi, Austin Brown.
And Steve, you might need to be quick with this tail of the tape. We have Lodi's Austin Brown, and his opponent likes to make quick work of whoever's towing the line against them.
Yeah, he is a beast. Tanner Gormanson, senior, 22-2, number 2 ranked behind Makai Rogers of Brown Deer. He took first last week at the Highlander, second at the Husky, and a state qualifier last year. Going to be wrestling at Parkside next year.
Huge addition for Parkside coach Nick Becker. Go back on our feet. Love that throw attempt there by Brown. Might as well let it fly.
Austin Brown, 15-16 on the year. Took 10th at the Fond du Lac Invite earlier this year before Christmas.
Gormanson, another takedown to go up 6-1. And working right into a bar. Has a hold of the wrist as well on the other side.
You know, if you're Austin Brown, you necessarily don't like being out there right now, but these are one of these matches where you kind of put on your resume afterwards, and there's nothing really to be afraid about after you wrestle a guy like Tanner Gormanson.
Well, especially like Brown, we saw him try a throw attempt, didn't go easy there.
Yep.
Fighting off the bar.
Gormanson going to let him go. Tiki, talk about number 2 and number 1. We saw at the Who's the Big Cheese, Rogers and Gormanson go at it. And I tell you what, for heavyweights, usually people think those are the boring matches. That was one of the most exciting.
May have been the most exciting match.
Those were talented big men, I can tell you that.
I have to wonder, is that a potential state finals matchup that we'll be seeing? Crazy thing, state just over a month away now.
Yeah, well, we were hoping.
Gormanson gets the turn, it gets the fall. Now up 38-11 are the Raiders in the catbird seat in this duel right now as we head to the top of the curve.
Yeah, here we go, folks. I'm going to tell you what, I think mathematically I believe the dual meet is over, but don't go anywhere because there are some really good matches head-to-head coming up, and we expected that, this, including this on paper 106-pound weight class. Slated as Oren Dorhorst, the freshman, number 3 ranked, wrestling Jackson Freeman. Not ranked, but got to be just outside those rankings because he has an impressive resume so far this year.
Yeah, Jackson, one of 4 Freemans wrestling for the Raiders.
Oh, check that, Teague. It's not Jackson Freeman, of course. Shouldn't speculate. Check that name. Teague will get some statistics on him, but Dorhorst, number 3 ranked, like I said, a freshman, 29-3 on the year. Runner-up at the Norski last week. First at the Fond du Lac tournament.
Steve, that'd be Mr. Bryce Bagnowski. JV state qualifier last weekend. Undefeated at the Eau Claire North Husky invite on the JV side and just going against a hammer and Owen Dorhorst for the Blue Devils. Again, just like at 285, potentially good opportunity here. You put your best foot forward and you grow from it.
That's right. Yeah, good point. Good point. Dorhorst quickly as a freshman moving up in those rankings. And I think the head-turning moment for most people is when he won that Fond du Lac invite. Freshman got to kind of work your way up, so to speak, and turn some heads so that you get those up in those rankings and then hopefully get a good seat at the state tournament.
Well, I don't know about you, Steve. There's just something particularly scary about seeing a good Lodi freshman as Dorhorst gets the fall. Score now of 38-17. Because whether it be Coach Andres, Coach Ryan Wand, Coach Persicki, it seems like Lodi's always been so good at building at the high school level. And when you have someone comes in that's already as talented as Dorhorst, you know they are going to be a force to be reckoned with the next 4 years.
Well, Teague, Lodi, it's clearly written on their mat, and they live it, and I know that for sure. It says tradition never graduates. They're always posting about their alumni. Every time an alumni is back in the room, they take a picture of it. They put it on Facebook, and it's really truly live that once you're a Lodi wrestler, you're always a Lodi wrestler. Bo Lane right now is coaching. He was a wrestler from the 90s.
Yeah,
Still
you
on the
see his
coaching
name
staff.
on that 2004 state championship team
Now wrestling for Lodi at 100.
as a volunteer coach.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry.
Did not wrestle in 2004.
Also, they moved Jackson Freeman up to 113 to wrestle. Was it Noah Allen? I would miss that. We were talking about the curling state championships that were on the wall behind us. I don't know if you caught that. I didn't know there was a state championship for curling.
Steve, Noah Allen, who his role in the Prairie du Chien duel was to fend off a pin, and not only did that, but able to get a win, and 14-13 on the year now.
Yeah, Jackson Freeman is 24-9, but he got 106 pounds. So if you're Noah Allen, you're 14-13. You got just above a 500 record. But
and Freeman thinking
there is that
Spladle,
Spladle.
and he will land it, Steve, in a lot of time. Potentially find the pin. But how about
that's something you don't see very often, getting out of a Spladle.
Allen able to slide up, but Freeman,
Wow.
great chain wrestling by the sophomore, and gets the fall. And see, even mathematically, that will do it for the duel, but 3 matches remain on the night.
9 seconds from Wisconsin Rapids, Jackson Freeman.
Brings the team score 44-17. We got 3 weight classes to go. And everybody is hoping this one stays.
Right? Yeah, potential match of the evening here.
Got Rapids that has to report first. And I heard let's go Landon, so we know for sure it's Landon Freeman, number 5 ranked in Division 1. And that is Briar Caves, Teague, number 5 ranked in D2. So, folks, get your popcorn. Battle of number 5s. 25-7, 27-6. Let's go.
Lando, it's evidenced by the nickname in the crowd. Nickname Lando, Steve.
Ah,
Maybe a nod to the character from the original Star Wars trilogy.
Lando Calrissian,
Wisconsin Rapids, Landon Freeman.
president of Cloud City.
Good knowledge there, Steve. Oh,
I was a
and I
wow.
think how about that? I mean, Freeman taking on Briar Caves for the Blue Devils. And this was the matchup you wanted to see, right? Battle of number 5s.
Freeman 4th at the Highlander last Friday, runner-up at the Steck, 5th at the Husky. Ironically, all 3 tournaments that Wisconsin Wrestle has covered, I just realized. So I think big fans of the Wisconsin Rapids.
Right? Friends of WI Wrestle.
Friends of WI Wrestle, right? State qualifier last year was Landon Freeman at 120 pounds, 35-10 on the year.
Oh, and the reversal by Briar makes it, no score yet, Steve. So
Yeah, still indicating red is in control. The ref is indicating
and if
red
things
is in
go out of
control.
bounds here, Steve, do you call a loss of control?
But what's changed, right? I mean, I think that's going to be the argument with the coaches. Okay, there it goes.
Caves looking to put Freeman in danger.
But coaches do get upset when they say, hey, nothing's changed, and then they go out of bounds, and then they say, oh, hey, we're going to give 1. That's when coaches get a little bit ticked.
Now Caves throwing a cross body ride.
Well, we talked about Freeman being a state state qualifier. Caves not a state qualifier, 4th at sectionals last year, Teague. When I tell you who was ahead of him, I think everybody will understand. We got Rashawn, Fry, and Koss.
Yeah, I know 2 of those for sure place winners last year. Can't speak for Fry, but it's safe to say both Fry and Caves potential to make the podium this year.
Ended with a 29-6 record. So far this year, his resume runner-up at both the Fond du Lac and the Norski.
Oh, and it will be a locked hands call. And Freeman just heads to his stomach, knows a reset there after the locked hands, and he'll have a 2-point lead. I have a big call there, Steve. 8 seconds to go in the period.
That is a big call. Caves definitely looking for the ride out. Looks like he's going to get it. Slides in that time stealer, the leg ride.
Steve, I like the locked hands there. I mean, just caused by the movement of Freeman right off the whistle. And he'll head to the second period with a 2-point lead.
Interesting call, right? Rapids defers. What does Caves take, Teague? He takes top. Yep.
Freeman able to get right in on the leg, going to try and hip in. Put Caves in a bad spot, but Caves looking really comfortable in that position, Steve.
Been there, done that. The Lodi wrestlers, this position they work a lot. I know most of the time coaches' philosophies are, hey, we're going to go down. That's our offense. We're going to score some points there. And not Lodi. They like to be in this position because they can control wrestlers on top.
And Steve, it's interesting to see. I mean, talk about team depth. The Rapids back up at 120, and we could maybe be seeing them in a bump to 126. But Deegan Armagost, who was a state qualifier last year.
Yeah, and where's he going to go, right? I mean, it's just you look and their lineup's so stacked that you have a state qualifier that's a backup.
And Caves keeping the crossbody in, trying to get a hold of the arm and able to break Freeman down.
It's a solid ride. Both wrestlers right in the center of the mat.
Freeman.
Lando doing a good job of taking that arm over the head.
Caves just using that length to his advantage. It's like that, Steve. 30 seconds to go in the second. And Steve, interesting spot here. Freeman could still very well score a point, but if this ends in a second period ride out, it's Rapids' choice. You weren't in serious danger of being turned, but if you don't get an escape, what do you call in the third?
I think you take neutral. I think you got no choice. You got ridden out the whole second period. You got the takedown.
A lot harder to fend off a turn after 2 minutes of riding. So we'll see what the call is here. And I love to see this team. I mean, a 27-point duel, but we knew these two would leave it all out on the mat regardless of the situation. And there it is, neutral. Good call there, Coach.
Yeah. Been around a little while. But I've also made numerous calls like that, and coaches do the exact opposite. So
Freeman able to get in on a leg. He's trying to work back. Good hip defense right now.
Great scrap of the battle of number fives.
Caves needs a takedown, but Freeman almost able to get his weight under him. Transitions to a treetop. And
good
a stalemate.
Call, yep. I was wondering how long he's going to let that go. I thought did a good job. Rapids wrestler was trying to improve himself, so.
Steve, you know it was good wrestling when me, you, and Jake on the production side over here, all that coach's lean going.
This is good stuff. Both wrestlers flat foot in the center. Nice little sweep.
Freeman just gets so deep on the underhook. And Caves, nice reset. Trying to find a leg, but good positioning right now by Freeman. Oh, and right off the counter attack is Freeman. Now looking to climb the ladder.
Oh, nice. Now we're going to see a scrabble, Teague.
Your Caves, you got to operate
fast. Elevate.
But Freeman now looking to put the Lodi sophomore in danger. And 20 seconds to go. At the very least, for the Rapids senior, you're killing a lot of clock and gets the ankle hook. Picks up the takedown, now 7-2. And seemed to build a lot of momentum, Steve, with that first takedown, able to hold out the lead. And Clinching it with that second takedown. 7-2 victory in a battle of D2 and D1 number 5s is Landon
fives.
Freeman.
Yeah, I tell you what, Landon Freeman, just the senior, looking so confident out there. You know, even though it was close and Caves was kind of going after him a little bit, Freeman just cool as a cucumber. And let's not forget, Caves just a sophomore. So I think this is one of those matches where it's going to help you as the season goes along, sectionals, when you're in battles like this. You remember, oh, yeah, no big deal. I was in a similar position against the number 5 in Division 1. So, like I said, you wrestle a tough schedule like this during the year so that you're not, when you get to the sectionals and state tournament, you're not fazed by anything.
We'll wait for names on this one.
T, that's the third time we've seen right off the whistle an ankle pick by those Rapids wrestlers. If you're going to wrestle them, you better be ready to go.
Wisconsin Rapids, Aspen Tritz.
So Steve bumping up is Lodi's Jacob Allen, and he's taking on our third Tritz of the evening, Aspen Tritz, who sometimes you see face covering, and Tritz working for the lat drop. Allen maybe trying to find a head throw. It'll end up scoring off of that.
Just like we saw the Lena program dominated with Johnson's. Rapids program filled with Tritz. Oh, I tell you what, that was slick.
And that
Taking
that
Allen
throw
right
works.
to
I
his
mean,
back.
already
Yeah, it was
7-4 in the first minute of this one. Now 11-5. Steve, this one on pace to break the 56-point mark that we saw between two wrestlers on Saturday.
I don't know what the record is, but that's got to be close.
Yeah, with the new scoring system.
With the new scoring system. 29-26.
Well, just like that, 14-5 for Freeman.
I should have counted up how many takedowns and near fall were in that match, T.
Well, Steve, good news for you. I do have the tape of it, so
good.
we'll be posting that at some juncture. Got to reset with 31 seconds to go. Penultimate match of the duel. One more to go after this one at 1:32. It's up 14-5.
Oh, nice. T, you talk about the history, like I said, of these programs and all the trips to Team State. Wisconsin Rapids, even before Team State happened, champions in 1974, 79, 85. 89, runner-up, 75, 77, 87, 88, and 90. Add that to all their championships when it switched over to the Team State.
Yeah, Steve, I think a majority, if not all those titles under Coach Louis Bennett.
I believe so.
I think the all-time wins leader, too. His son, Scott, now the head coach. Right now, Aspen Tritz is going to get the tech, ends up getting the fall, so good old-fashioned tech pin, Steve.
Got the tech pin. One more match to go, Teague, and I found this statistic fascinating with Wisconsin Rapids, 19 trips to Team State, and out of those 19 times, only one time did they go to Team State without coming home with some form of hardware, right? Either they won a championship or they were runner-up twice. And the one time they did not, they went 1-1. So they've never gone to Team State and not at least won a match.
What year was that? Was it 2019?
That they didn't. It was the only year that they did not bring home something. It was 2015.
2015.
And they
Okay.
went 1-1.
Now wrestling at 132 pounds from Lodi, Xander Kellogg. From Wisconsin Rapids, Gavin Jacobs.
And last match of the evening, Steve, at 1:32. Had this one slated as a toss-up. So another good match to finish out the night. Lodi's Xander Kellogg, Rapids Gavin Jacob.
This little fireman's attempt.
Kellogg switching off to the legs and stays in on him. Keeps improving his position, and he's up 3-0.
Tegan Rapids with those 46 individual titles. Obviously got a title last year, and I think everybody knows about Stoughton and Mineral Point, their battle together as far as having the most individual titles. And I think Rapids is trying to get back into that race.
Yeah, up to 46 now after Freeman's title last year. Scope of the night, Kellogg picking up a few near fall to go up 6-0.
Xander Kellogg, 20-10, the junior, 5th at the Norski sectional qualifier last year. Gavin Jacob, also a sectional qualifier. Teague, I think the 3rd Wisconsin Rapids wrestler that we talked about that took 3rd at sectionals last year. Took it at 113 pounds, 20-13.
Yeah, Rapids last year in that sectional with Holman and Wanakee and the other lacrosse and Madison area schools. Rapids, one of those we like to call them pinball team for the WIA,
right.
Wherever they're needed. They'll be put there.
Bouncing all over as far as sectionals.
Led to the second period, 6-1 in favor of Kellogg.
And if you're Lodi, you desperately want this one, right? Last match of the day. Things didn't go your way today, but I tell you what, you win this last one, it makes you be able to stomach it a little bit better.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the tool in our post-match analysis, but just looking at, you had a few toss-ups, right? And I think they both went Rapids' way, if I'm looking at this correctly so far. This one, the last toss-up. And it was maybe an uphill battle coming in. You're going against the number 2 team in D1. Lodi still fighting until the end.
Well, I think Lodi really need to get 3 out of 4, if not all of those toss-ups to make this competitive. Just didn't go their way.
How about the bonus points accumulated by the Raiders? Right now, in this moment, a 9-1 lead for Kellogg.
Nice job. That was a little spladle attempt. It's one move that I've never attempted in my life. Don't even know how to do it, Teague.
I think I could figure it out.
You can figure it out?
Well, not now, but.
Have you ever been spladled?
I have not, no, because I'm still able to walk.
Well, you're still supposed to be able. You're still supposed to wrestle Danny Heiser yet, so maybe that can happen.
My day of reckoning's coming.
And I think you also challenged Charlie Millard, did you not?
That was you.
Oh, I was challenging for you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, so we'll.
Yeah, because if you make it a minute, you get a Highlander blanket.
God, a minute and a half into the second period. Or should I just say 30 seconds?
I make challenges all the time for Teague. It's a lot of fun.
and I'll play them out. I'm a gamer.
Pretty similar records on these two, 18-11, 20-10.
As we head to the end of the second period here, time winds down. Be 9-2 in favor of Kellogg. If you folks want to hear more of Steve and I, we'll be back on tomorrow on the WI Wrestles, a Rokfin, and a Facebook. 7 o'clock with Hortonville coach Chris Genrick for the Pulaski Invite preview.
Chris just picked up his, Teague, 200th win?
Correct, yep.
Yep. Coach is probably, pound for pound, one of the best wrestlers in the state right now. And what do you call him, Herm the Destroyer?
The Herminator?
The Herminator.
Well, that would be, don't mix up your FVA opponent, Steve.
Oh, did I just mix it up? You probably, I tell you, Nina. I'm sorry. Yeah, didn't I tell you that Nina and Hortonville, I screw up all the time?
That's an what? What's the mix-up?
I don't know. I do it all the time.
Both shades of red?
Yeah. Remember? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It is. Nice little ride by Jacob. Ref feels that Kellogg's head was down, wasn't trying to get up and move, so it's encouraging him to put a little bit more action into it.
These Rapids guys are tough on top of Jacob. Gonna need a couple of turns here, or just one and finish it, as he's working for that half right now.
Yeah, it's funny. Both these programs, they're just so solid in the top position.
There it is, the second stall warning, Steve, so that will be a point for Jacob.
Going for that cradle. See a little 15-second flurry. If you're Lodi, you want this takedown to get that major.
And Jacob just maybe going to reach deep into his bag of tricks here. Kellogg will hold on to a leg. And final score will be a 10-3. Which brings the final duel tally.
Winner by decision, 10-3.
D1 number 2, Wisconsin Rapids 53. Lodi Blue Devils 20 here at Lodi, and we'll take things back to us here as we close out the duel. And first couple matches of the evening, Rapids started off, and you have Freeman starting off in your lineup. You get that early 11-0 lead. Dorhorst makes it 11-6. Closest the duel got, though, was 5 points. It was 16-11, and Rapids just went on a tear, Steve. Thoughts on the duel this evening?
You know, I think if you're Lodi, you're kind of fighting a little uphill battle coming in, and you need a couple of those swing matches to go your way. I thought a key match was 175. It looked like Lodi was going to take it with Easton Hansen, but Oakley Ployce, check that, goes in and gets the throw, and pretty much ended any chance for Lodi to have this victory tonight. I thought, obviously, being able to see state champion, anytime you can come live and see a state champion, Carter Freeman, he looks solid. And watching Tanner Gormanson in person, he is one large and athletic individual. I tell you what, Parkside has a great recruit there. And Teague, I got to tell you, even though it didn't really play out in the duel, I thought watching Landon Freeman and Briar Caves was awesome. The battle of number 5s, you can tell that those two fellows are going to be on the podium down at the state tournament.
And Steve, it was a fun one. You brought his name up already, but if we have a wrestler of the duel, it has to be the man who gave Rapids that momentum almost right away in the first swing match. I got to go with you, Oakley Ployce, the freshman who I got to tell you shows a lot of promise. I don't think that'll be the last time we'll be saying his name, but it was a fun night here at Lodi. And folks, I'm sure maybe we could have this one archived to put on to YouTube at some point. So go check out the WI Wrestle YouTube. Steve and I will be back in action tomorrow on Rokfin and Facebook for the Pulaski Invite Preview. Want to thank Jake and his crew for running the camera and production behind the scenes. I want to thank all of you for tuning in here to Lodi High School here on the WI Wrestle Rokfin. And until next time, folks, signing off on behalf of Steve and myself, I am Teak Fenwick. Have a great night.